Greetings, everybody. So today I'm going to be making a Growl bass synth patch. So this is what it sounds like. And in context, there we go. Okay, so here's an instance of meld again. We're using meld to begin with. I'll move on to other synth instruments later in the series. But here I've already added a shape, but this is just a like a clean meld, and I've soloed oscillator A, sorry. So I want it to be a saw wave. And we're going to turn down the octave. Oh, there's the nice growl sound. Okay, we're going to make a growl bass today. So here we go. So I don't think... Let's turn up the tone. It'll make it even growlier. I don't know why the release isn't working, but it's not. Okay, so we don't want too high, fast an attack, because that click isn't very pleasant. So in fact, I'll turn it more, and then put the slope up. And I think the sustain can be where it is, just 0 dB. So the next thing we'll do is use the filter just to take off some of the top end, like a really small amount of the top end, so we have more of the and we don't need any resonance really. Okay, and then we've got mono as well. Okay, let's hear that what it sounds like. Okay, I've turned the amp down a bit, because when it's changed to mono and legato and not legato, it's changed a bit. I wonder. That's not doing anything. Okay, I'm guessing that's because there's no oscillator B. Okay, let's turn off oscillator A and go into oscillator B. And what we're going to do here is turn the tone, and we're going to go dual shapes. Actually, yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So I was going to turn up, you can't do both tone and detune, so we'll stick with that. And we're going to change this to a high band pass. Is that right? Does that band notch? Yeah, so high pass. And we're gonna... Actually, I might... If I can... No. No, we'll stick with... We'll do a 24 dB one. And we can't... I'm not sure what else we can do with it, actually. I think what I'm going to do is turn the tone up. to even take off even more of those lows. So now we've got that kind of sound, which is nice. I'm taking down some of that really growly sound, the top end growl, because we've got this high end growl here, so I don't think we need it really. Because otherwise we've got clashing. Well, it takes up the same frequency range, and we don't want that. Okay, so now we've got that, we can start adding some distortion with some audio effects. Where is it? Raw, here we go. So we need to let's try one of these. Yeah, I quite like that. I mean, I'm just messing around with the settings here. Amount, we want it to be a fair amount, otherwise if we don't engage it at all, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do much. So that just kind of tightens the wave shape. And the bias kind of makes... I think that kind of goes down to the low end a bit more, which is what we want in a growl setting. But I think what I might do is some parallel. Serial, let's try some serial. So I'm going to then turn this to high pass. Okay, so not serial, parallel. And then we want more of the low pass one. Okay, how does that sound? So we've taken off some of that really fizzy kind of high end, which is quite nice. And we've got more distortion, so that's what we wanted. And what else I'm going to do is I'm going to add some reverb. Not this reverb, some convolution reverb. And then we're going to turn it right down. Oh, that's interesting. That hasn't done what I wanted it to do. There we go. Okay, so we got it. Basically, we're just using it as an EQ, but it just. I wonder if using an EQ would be better. I think, or maybe multiband dynamic. Let's try that, and then we can have about up to 200, and we can compress it a lot, and then add some more. So we're compressing about 15 dB, so we'll add 15 dB. That's always good practice to do with bass lines, bass patches anyway. Really compress the low end, and then it's a more stable sound. And what we could do is, there we go, that's nice. So we got more of the high end, but it's not the fizzy high end, it's the kind of distorted high end. Okay, that's quite nice. I like that. We could add something else, like some chorus. Where is it? Missed it. There we go. Roll off the top end. We don't want it to be creating that width in the low end. Okay. That's getting rid of a lot of the low end, so I'm going to take it before the multi-band dynamics. Maybe just turn the wet, dry, wet, no, down a bit. Okay, that's added some width. Okay, I think that's about it. So, this is what it sounds like in context. I think that's quite nice. I like the way to myself. I hope you've learned something here. If the thing I wish you'd learn the most is just to not be afraid of trying something which you're not an expert at, because I'm no expert at this. But I like to experiment, and that's where you get fun sounds and fun experiences. So experiment, and I hope you have a nice day, a nice afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. And yeah, see you next time.